Welcome to Aniplot. Today anime recap is World's End. Release in 2022. Rito Mizuhara is cryogenically frozen in 2040 following a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. Mira Sewell cures and revives Rito 5 years later. Mira explains that 4 years ago, the male killer virus emerged and wiped out the male population, except for him and 4 other immune men who were similarly frozen, and they are obligated to have children in order to prevent humanity's extinction. Rito steps outside in disbelief and is immediately attacked by lust-crazed women until he is rescued. His now adolescent sister Maharu arrives and explains that their brother Ryu contracted the virus and needed to be frozen to save his life. Additionally, she discloses that his childhood friend Alyssa Takabana vanished 3 years ago. Mira attempts to seduce Rito that night, but he rejects her advances. Mira then shows Rito several bathing girls and asks him to choose his conception partner the following day. He refuses, shocked, and insists on locating Alyssa, the only woman with whom he wishes to have children. Mira agrees, but says that until Alyssa is apprehended, she will send a different girl to his room each night until Alyssa is apprehended. Kyoji Hino, one of the immune men, takes pleasure in his new life and sleeps with actress Rina Kitayama. Following a meal with Rito, Maharu, and Mira, Rito runs into Hino, who mocks him for his hesitation. Later in the shower, Akane Ryuzaji ambushes Rito and attempts to seduce him, but he passes out and is carried to his room. He then sleeps platonically with Akane and Sui Yamada, albeit reluctantly. The following day, Rito, Mira, Akane, and Sui are searching for clues in Alyssa's old laboratory when they are attacked by an escaped bear. Sui, on the other hand, eliminates it. When he discovers Alyssa is working on a cure for the MK virus, Rito resolves to complete her work and appears on the news to communicate his mission. Following Maharu's reprimand, Rito discovers a taped message inside Alyssa's old teddy bear in which she explains that the MK virus is a man-made biological weapon. He admits to Mira that she resembles Alyssa and apologizes for not reproducing, but she insists that working on a cure is the preferable course of action. Meanwhile, a female council views Rito as a threat to their authority. They then arrange for the resurrection of another man. In 2040, Shoda Doi is tormented by Takamatsu, his girlfriend Erika, and his gang, with his sister Mayu and his teacher Yuzuki Haney as his only allies. He contracts an illness and is rendered immobile, growing resentful when his classmates disregard his goodbye speech and walk out. 5 years later, he is cured and resurrected by Karen Kamiya, who informs him about the MK virus and Mayu's disappearance. He returns to his old school and is reintroduced to Yuzuki, who seduces him. He begins to develop feelings for other girls, but is injured by a stray volleyball. Yuzuki treats and seduces him once more, despite the fact that they have always been in love. Karen later reports to her superiors, who inquire as to why the old school had to be reopened. She claims that because Shoda and the girls are unaware of Hino and Rito, they believe Shoda is the last man on Earth. As such, they intend to use them as pawns in their global takeover plot. Every day, Shoda has been sleeping with Yuzuki. Karen drags him to swimming class a week later. Later on, Natsu Akijo is assigned to be his roommate. After Shoda assists her in dressing, she confesses that her father arranged for her to marry a much older man until both of them were killed by the MK virus. After that, she seduces him. Meanwhile, Rito continues to work on the cure when Mira informs him that Maharu volunteers at a refugee shelter. She does warn him, however, that if others discover Maharu is his sister, she may face danger. Rito meets Hino, who reveals he had impregnated one of his girls. When Yuzuki returns, Shoda admits to sleeping with Akijo and begs for forgiveness, but she says they are all aware and he belongs to everyone. Karen is confronted by him and he demands an explanation. She accompanies him to class and explains that she reopened his old school to make him comfortable so he would mate and repopulate the planet. The girls then strip naked in front of him. The council asserts that because Rito has refused to mate, Mira is ineffective and will be relieved of her duties. Rito has a month to create the cure before he is forced to mate. Meanwhile, Mira is fired from her position as Rito's attendant, despite her continued employment, and is replaced by Ria Katagiri, who appears hostile toward him. Additionally, Rito works alongside the retiring virologist Maria Kuroda. The group then travels to Cayman City, the epicenter of the MK virus, to interview Taniguchi, the virus' first victim's hospitalized widow. Rito reluctantly bathes in a hot spring with the girls. Taniguchi refuses to cooperate, mocking Rito for his inability to mate. When they depart, it is revealed that Taniguchi has been in contact with Alyssa and is perplexed as to why Alyssa has remained silent. In the sauna of a hotel, an American named Chloe attempts to seduce Rito and tricks him into kissing her just as the other guests arrive, enraging them. Mira later speaks with Taniguchi about Rito's honor and convinces her to share what she knows. However, someone infiltrates and poisons her IV tube, critically injuring her. Taniguchi requests, prior to losing consciousness, that a photograph of her and her husband be given to Rito. Rito, Sui, and Maria search unsuccessfully for evidence at the abandoned hospital where the first victim was treated. Akane suspects Ria of poisoning Taniguchi. Ria intervenes to prevent her sister being raped by another girl. Rito scans the photograph and discovers incomplete blueprints for the design of the MK virus. Later, Akane and Maria warn him that those working on the cure have been mysteriously disappearing. Meanwhile, dissatisfied with his harem, Hino notices Maharu and selects her as his next bed partner. Naniko, his attendant, informs Rito and Maharu, who object to her being only 16, but agree to a lunch date with Rito. The council instructs Rito to distribute rations as a publicity stunt, while Akane reveals that their leader, Kahara, is actually her mother. Ria then confesses her love to Mira, who rejects her. A sniper attempts to assassinate Rito while he distributes rations, but is stopped by Ria's sister. Maharu rejects Hino at the lunch date, which depresses him, but he appeases them by sleeping with his jealous harem. Rito, Maria, Sui, and Akane discover that the abandoned hospital was visited by a large number of the missing doctors. Karen informs Shoda that he is not permitted to leave the school until he graduates. Later, the class will conduct a random drawing to determine his new roommate. Rika Yanagi wins, but he flees to the teacher's lounge due to her resemblance to Erika. Shunka Hiragi enters and establishes a bond with him by revealing that she, too, was bullied. After that, she seduces him. Rika angrily asserts that it was supposed to be her turn and fights Shunka, prompting Shoda to flee once more. He attempts to contact Yuzuki but receives no response. Akira TD, the volleyball player who struck him, apologizes and seduces him. Karen makes a new arrangement in which a girl will serve as his daily servant. He trips and scrapes his hand after kissing Rika. Karen orders Akijo, Shunka, and Akira to sleep with him concurrently after receiving treatment. Chifuyu Ren Kuroda makes an attempt to seduce him, but he rejects her due to her childlike appearance. Karen informs him that Yuzuki has left, which enrages him. He becomes significantly more sexually aggressive with the girls over the next few days. Shinashino, one of the girls who consistently ignored him while he was being bullied, transfers in one day, shocking him. That is all that happened in the anime till now. If you want a part 2, comment down below. See you next time.